Bud Crawford defeats Kell Brook. Let's talk about it. What's happening, boxing fans? It is Dr. Bring It. Hey guys, we are grateful because life is good. Truly, if you have survived up to this point in 2020, this monstrous, challenging year, I salute you. Because seriously, things could have been absolutely tragic, but here you are, watching a Dr. Bring It video talking about the things that you love to talk about, which is boxing. So this past weekend, look, we have so much boxing in the last several months, back to back to back, and then we have more coming up. We are really getting spoiled here. It seems like boxing kind of is on an uptick, it seems like, right? Well, this past weekend didn't fall short of any entertainment that we were expecting, because seriously, Bud Crawford once again delivered on his promise, which is to give the fans an entertaining outcome. So let's talk about this. Kell Brook, yes, he is a little bit older, okay? And there's a lot of criticisms saying that he now is really way past his prime and that he no longer has a chin. He's not the same fighter as he was when he fought Spence and Triple G, all that stuff, that he was weight drained. I knew, and you guys also knew, that if he were to lose to Bud, especially by knockout or stoppage, that we were going to hear this kind of criticism. Now, I just have to say this, that I am not a diehard Bud Crawford fan. I love watching him fight, but I don't really idolize any fighter out there. I appreciate all types of fighters out there, and I just want to watch quality boxing. And for me, I feel that Bud Crawford is a special kind of fighter because he truly is a very creative fighter who's really not only a boxer, but he's also a fighter. Like, the guy has a killer mentality, willing to go to southpaw, to go right-handed. The guy just does anything to get the win. And as you've probably seen, Bud Crawford is just super creative, and he's proven that he has one-punch knockout power. So let's talk about Kell Brook first. I just want to say that Kell Brook, he really did come in very prepared. He was showing a really good jab. Now, one thing that I was a little bit surprised is that Bud Crawford came out in the conventional stance, righty, okay? I thought he was going to start southpaw, as we've seen many times before, but he started actually as a righty. And to me, he was kind of getting tagged with some really good timed jabs. Now, I don't know if you guys caught the post-fight videos. I guess somebody had caught them talking. I guess Kell Brook and Crawford got a chance to kind of catch up after the fight. And they were giving each other props. Now, it gave me the warm and fuzzies because I love to see, even in the face of defeat, Kell Brook was able to just humble himself and show his class and his character. He wasn't sour or anything like that. He knew he was beat by the better man that night. And he was saying that, hey, you have really good timing and you got to pop to your punch, you know? But he did say that more so than the pop, his timing was very, very good. Now, they also mentioned to each other that they were trying to counter each other. And when Bud realized that he wasn't coming in, he started to go and go on the offense. Hats off to Kell Brook, because Kell Brook absolutely prepared for this fight. He was super in shape. He looked like he was ready to go 12 rounds, but unfortunately, he did get caught coming in by a shot that he did not see. He didn't see the shot. And that's actually what makes Bud Crawford deadly. Not the fact that he has one-punch knockout power, is the fact that the shots that come in are shots that his opponents do not see. And those are the ones that are really deadly. So if you go back to that first knockdown, what you'll see is that Bud Crawford was in a southpaw stance. Now, I think his best money shot is his counter right hook. His counter right hook. So what happens is the opponent comes in, and this is what happens. Kell Brook was throwing some jabs, right? And in that round, he realized that instead of going to the jab, because the left jab wasn't as effective when Bud turned southpaw, then what Kell Brook tried to do was just light him up with straight rights, which is the most effective punch against a southpaw. So as he was doing this, Bud Crawford sensed that he was coming in, and he actually had his guard up high like this, and as he was coming in, he didn't even take a wind up. What he did was he had his hand up here already, and then he said, boom. So it was kind of a left hook slash right cross, kind of a shot. Now, mind you, Bud Crawford is a righty. So he has his strong hand up here. So all he has to do is just go boom, which is exactly what happened. As Kell Brook was coming in, he saw that he was coming in, and he caught him, okay? He caught him this way, and as he was coming in, all it takes is this little boom, and it affects this part of the jaw. And after that, it juked him. And as you saw, he really never recovered from that shot. That is all timing. It's not being fast. It's not being quick. It's his anticipation of his opponents coming in. And he just senses it. He sees it. He's like, again, all the master counterpunchers out there, they can sense their opponents coming in. You know, like in poker, you can tell, like once they give their tells, you can see if somebody's bluffing or not. Same thing in boxing. After that first, second, third round, Bud Crawford starts to see how Kell Brook projects his punch. He starts to see what Kell Brook is doing right before he throws a punch. And this is the data that all counterpunchers gather. They look at body language and see, like, if somebody's about to throw something, they go down, or they prepare, or they go to the side, or they tense up their shoulders, something. But whatever it was about Kell Brook, Bud Crawford, he read it. He knew that he was coming in, and all it took was that split second, and he got his punch in to juke him, and then that was over. One thing also I wanted to comment is right before the stoppage, right? So the ref had counted him out, right? And then once they started fighting again, Bud Crawford just pretty much pounced on him. But right before he did, He threw a looping left, and then it caused Kell Brook to cover up. And then what he did, which was, I thought he was brilliant, was he feinted first. He came in, feinted, Kell Brook covered like this, and then after he covered, then he went in with a right and pretty much hit him, and that's it. It was really over. But even when he's closing, Bud Crawford knows how to use his footwork. He feints. What is a feint? A feint is a fake. A fake coming in, causing the opponent to do something, either cover up or swing, and then when they're out of position, then he comes in with the real attack. Bud Crawford is a master at feinting. Feinting. Yes, he did get caught. The first 2 rounds, he was getting caught with jabs. I have to say that Kell Brook really knew that in order to neutralize speed, he has to come in with a good, well-timed jab, and he proved it, which is why it forced Bud to make his adjustment, and he went into the southpaw stance. Now that's the thing. I don't know what you guys think, what Bud Crawford's money shot is. I think his money shot, it is counter right hook. The way that he throws it, again, when his opponent throws the left jab, he comes in right behind it, throwing the right hook. And it's a shot that is very, very hard to see. Look at Kavaliauskas, that fight. And by the way, Kavaliauskas was a beast, and he still is a beast. When Bud Crawford fought Kavaliauskas, Kavaliauskas was undefeated, and he was knocking people out left and right. It was a dangerous fight for Bud. But Bud caught him with his money shot, his counter right hook from the southpaw stance. Again, Bud Crawford, it's not that he has like this electrifying knockout power like a Tank Davis, okay? It's just that he has an unbelievable timing for counterpunching. You don't see these shots coming in. So what do you guys think? I don't want to beat a dead horse here. I think you guys already know. I think people are being a little too critical when it comes to saying that Bud Crawford's not pound for pound. But it's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? If you think that he's still overrated, then hey, that's you. Me personally, I see something very special in him. His creativity is just, it's so artistic in the ring. He knows how to create. He knows how to adjust. And he's just a fighter. He's just a fighter. He's not afraid to get hit either. He takes his chances, which is why he gets hit. And which is why I feel that he's actually more entertaining to watch than Spence. Spence, he's a gritty fighter, very tough. But in my eyes, I think he goes into what I call he goes into a zombie mode, which we saw against Porter. We saw against Kell Brook. He goes into this zombie mode that he just stops thinking, really, and just wins on sheer grit. I mean, that's his style. That's what it is. And when he fought Mikey Garcia, did you guys think that was like an electrifying fight? No. I mean, he just broke down Mikey Garcia through those 12 rounds. Mikey Garcia has probably the toughest chin in the entire business. But the way in which that he beat Mikey Garcia wasn't really creative. Really wasn't creative. What would be really interesting would be to see Bud Crawford fight Mikey Garcia at 147 and see how he does against his granite chin. I would love to see Bud Crawford fight Porter. Porter's a really tough, formidable fighter as well. It would be nice to see how he would deal with that type of adversity, that pressure fighting and that inside fighting. I would love to see how Bud Crawford deals with that. Do I want to see Bud Crawford fight Manny Pacquiao? Does Manny Pacquiao really need Bud Crawford at this point? No, because anything that Manny Pacquiao does at this point is just for money. I mean, what does he have to lose? But if they do fight, will I be really disappointed? No, I would love to see that fight. That would be pretty cool. I would love to see what a Manny Pacquiao can do against a younger Bud Crawford. Will it be like the fight against Thurman? I don't think so. Bud Crawford has much more dynamic footwork and longer reach. I mean, everything. Bud Crawford would certainly be the favored to win if he ever fought Manny Pacquiao. Bud Crawford definitely wants to fight Manny Pacquiao because it's a big payday, because I don't think anyone else in the business right now is pulling that much money except for like maybe Canelo, right? So what do you guys think? Chime in. Be really interesting what you guys thought of this fight too. If you guys think that that Kell Brook really is washed up, which is a little harsh. I mean, the guy came in like super in shape. Crawford, if you feel that he's still overrated, I don't think he's overrated. I've always recognized that he has really the X factor. And yes, maybe his resume is not loaded with world champions like Spence, but still you can't take away the creativity and skill that he shows in the ring every single time. When was the last time one of his fights actually went to decision? A long while ago. He's been getting knockouts and TKOs on pretty formidable fighters. So let me know what you guys think. Chime in. If you haven't already, please subscribe so we could always talk about this stuff whenever I put my videos out. Like the video if you like it, and certainly please comment and let me know what you guys think of the fight. So I'm going to be putting out a video pretty soon of the next coming fights. I think Garcia, Ryan Garcia might be fighting. Actually, Shakur Stevenson is going to be fighting. I believe Luke Campbell has COVID, so he pulled out of that fight against Ryan Garcia. So I'm really interested to seeing who's going to take his spot, or if it's going to be just postponed for another time. Not sure. I just recently started watching some of Jaron Ennis fights. The guy's a beast. He's another one to look out for if you haven't already. Let me know what you think about him. And that's it. We got a lot of boxing to talk about. Talk to you soon.